Hello friends and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about manifestation. We're going to explore 4, maybe 5 important areas of what manifestation actually is. We're going to get clear on it so we can manifest into our life what we desire. What is manifestation really? Manifestation really just is bringing your desires into the world, manifesting what you want into the world. And we all manifest, every single one of us. It's a natural part of the human experience. But the reason why we break it down into beliefs, emotions and behaviors is so we can actually see how it is being done in a practical sense. And when we're aware of how it's being done within ourselves, then we can become conscious of it and change the direction. Because most people are manifesting in an unconscious state, right? Manifesting into the world what they don't actually desire. And we want to consciously manifest. We want to participate. And that's what really manifestation is actively participating in the outcomes of our life, actively choosing what we want, because we should be able to do that, right? It's not woo-woo, it's not nonsense. There are many aspects in terms of psychology that look at this, but look at this in a different way. You look at goal setting, right? This is all a part of goal setting. You look at any kind of healing protocol in psychology in general. It's all about looking at our patterns, our repetitive patterns, and resolving those repetitive patterns. By the way, you don't have to talk for hours about your repetitive patterns to resolve them. But I will get into that. From here, talking about manifestation, this is going to be basically a mini course. I'm going to be doing subsequent videos in depth on each section. So the next video to me is a really important area of emotion, feeling it. Feeling is the secret, and I'll be doing that on the next video. So if you're interested in following along with this, then subscribe down below and you can come along for the journey. So the first aspect I'm looking at here is an intention. Intention, just like the rest of them, is important. All of these aspects of manifestation work in union together. They're all one and the same. If you take one out, or if you only do one of them, then it's not going to work. You have to look at all of the areas. If you just sit there and you want to visualize and feel it, but you're not willing to go anywhere else or do anything else, it's not going to work. Everything works in union. Everything is one and whole, not separate. So if you're looking at intention in a very basic sense, you're looking at what you want. What is it that you want? Because you may have been sitting there and you go, I've got this idea. This is what I really want to do in life. What is it? You have to be clear on it. You have to know what you truly want, what you truly desire, whether it is with yourself or with something that you're going to be doing. It all includes you. You are the most important aspect. So what do you want? And be clear on it. Intention, it's a very strong word. And really it's about going from the decision, the direct decision to do something, to the goal. So that's why I've included what do you want? Why do you want it? Because your why is very important. You see, people don't necessarily change until the need to change is greater than the need to stay the same. This is when most people will go, you know what, they start questioning themselves. They start looking at things that they're doing. Why do I react that way? Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep getting into those relationships? Why can't I go and do that? Why is it that they do that, but I can't do it? We start questioning ourselves and we start getting very uncomfortable with it because, you know what? I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to be that way. I want to be that to which I want. So we start questioning ourselves and we start wanting to do this change in our life. So your why is very important. Why do you want it? And it's a good reminder for you every now and again to look at it and go, hey, why do I want this? This is important because. And then you go into the planning stage, which is the goal setting. How is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? You have to make a plan. Now, there are things that I've wanted in my life. Okay, this is what I want to do, that's what I want to do, but I never make a plan. And there is nothing wrong with making a plan and setting goals. We're all different, we all want different things, and I have seen people out there who don't want to make plans, they don't want to set goals, they don't want to strive for anything. And that's perfectly okay. We all choose our life, we all choose how we want to live, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to start here, you want to manifest things into your life, including the person that you truly are, who is already here, by the way, you make a plan. You set your plan and you set what your goal is. This is the intention part, because we're taking ideas, our ideas, and putting them into a plan. Intention, as I say, is a very powerful word and is a very spoken aspect of it. I mean, you don't have to tell people about this, but a lot of people do suggest that you put this out there. Tell people what you're going to do, and this helps to hold you accountable. You can do that as well. I've never done it, and I don't need to do it. We're all different, as I said. But many years ago, when I wanted to change jobs, I was working in a job for 15 years, and I'd gotten to the point where I said, you know what, I want something different. I want to do something different. I want to basically level myself up a bit in terms of employment, career-wise. And I felt a bit nervous about it, and the fears came up. So I started speaking with intention. And intention is mind and body. It's not just it's not just separate. Everything is one. So mind and body has to be involved in your intentions. And I would say to myself, this is what I'm doing, because words are very powerful. This is what I'm doing. I am doing this. I am doing this now. This is my life. Okay, so when you're doing this, what do you want? Why do you want it? And how do you want it? Use present tense and speak it with authority within yourself, because authority and the intention that comes out of your physical body is a part of the expression. I am doing this. You're putting power into it, and it all goes together. Remember, everything works in union. It is not in separation. Speaking words is also expressing through the body. So that is intention, a very basic starter. We're going to the next one now, just as important. Number 2, a very important area, just like every area, align and embody. All about integration and embodying the person that you truly are. There are different components, and I will put these different components. It will be quite lengthy to explain, but it's a very important area. Energy, all is energy. And all of your, what that really is all of your behaviors, all of your beliefs, and all of your emotions are energy. Everything in life is energy. Everything. There is no separation. We love to separate everything and categorize and pigeonhole and pretend that everything works by itself. That is not true. Everything works in union at all times. Even if you have a look at feminine and masculine energy, people take that and create separation. No, it's one. It's working in union. Everything works in union. There is no separation. So if you can imagine a person who is really negative, they think a lot of negative thoughts, they complain about things all the time, they're highly critical of themselves and everybody else, what is that going to draw in to your life? What are you going to receive into your life? You're going to receive the same kind of energy frequency. Like attracts like. Now, before anybody says anything about like attracts like, remember, everything is energy. Like attracts like is actually all about energy. It is not about, and I've heard people say this so many times, so you're saying that I attract this person into my life that treats me badly. No, it's not about that person's behavior, even though their behavior is energy. It's about like energies coming in together to create an equilibrium. You don't, if you're here with your energy frequency, you're not going to attract the person up here. They just don't meet. You attract the same energy. And in this video that I'm going to do about this, I have a very good example, relationship dynamics, a true example that I will talk about that really gets into that actually shows you like attracts like. in terms of a relationship, and it wasn't a pretty relationship. So that's a very good example of that. So to raise our frequency within ourselves, what do we have to do? If we're operating at this lower frequency, we really have to look at the things that are standing in the way, because you already are the person that you desire to be. You already are that person. So what's in the way? What stuff do you have to resolve to raise your frequency? What fears, what beliefs, what patterns, what programming do you have to let go of to naturally raise your frequency? Another way of raising your frequency is being present. Being present in your experience, being present in your life. Be here in the experience, not trying to escape it. Number 2, alignment. Alignment of your beliefs, emotions, and behavior. Now, normally we are doing this unconsciously because all of these things are still in alignment when we're manifesting what we don't desire into the world. So what we want to do is change that around and consciously manifest what we do desire into the world. So we have to look at this area of emotion, beliefs, and behaviors. We have to simply understand it. And when we simply understand it, we break it down into this simplicity, we can see what is actually creating that manifestation. What is the belief behind it, the emotion, and the behaviors that end in the outcome? We can do that, we can take it, we can disrupt it and transform everything. Reprogram the subconscious. The subconscious mind is where everything is really coming from. Okay? So an emotion here is the language of the subconscious mind, and that's why we use feeling it to program ourselves. Because when you constantly, over and over again, are feeling a particular way, a particular emotions, that tells the subconscious mind that this is true. This is how our beliefs, our limiting beliefs, were cemented within us in the first place. Because we had experiences in life, we felt a certain way about it, and that told our subconscious mind over and over again that that was true. So going on that, we can reprogram our mind for something totally different. We don't actually have to have a positive belief about something. Belief really, because as I said, you already are the person that you desire to be. You already are the person that's going to manifest what you desire into the world. So this belief is really about knowing yourself, knowing that you already are, believing that you already are. That is the cement, that is the anchor. And the emotion is the part of the programming. But I will get more into that in the next video. Embody. You have to embody the person that you really, truly, authentically are. You have to be this person that you already are. But it's simple as this. What's standing in the way? And I've said this, like at the beginning of the video, what's standing in the way? It's just your fears, your beliefs, your programming. That's what's standing in the way. You remove that, and what's left? The person that you truly are. I know, it's that simple. I know it's simple on whiteboard. But when we break this down and we can see how it is, how we see how we can transform, that it really is a simple way of doing it, then we know that we can transform within ourselves. We don't have to leave it up to somebody else. We don't have to talk about it for hours. We can see the patterns, we can disrupt the patterns, we can do something about it. We can start to embody the person that we truly are, that's going to manifest what we truly desire into the world. Now, by the way, healing, because I was talking about energy, and I will talk about this in the next video. But healing, I've put into this little free booklet that I'll talk about at the end, this little free booklet, this energy, emotional feeling. How not only is it this really good exercise to feel in the end, to live in the end, but this is also a very good exercise for healing. This is how I healed. Okay, I didn't go to talk therapy. I didn't talk about my problems for hours. I didn't dwell in them. I didn't believe that there was something wrong with me. I just used this one exercise over and over again. And it can be used with very difficult problems, and it can be used with very simple problems. So you not only use this exercise to implement the new way of being, you also use this exercise for healing. You use this exercise for everything. That's all you really need. And it's really about coming into the present and being here, experiencing your life and living fully in your mind and body. So embody, be the person, feel the person that you truly are. Have everything coming into alignment, and you will manifest what your desires are. Okay, direct attention and direct action. This, of course, another important component. Everything works together. So what we have is in direct action and attention is the doing. We have to take action in what we want. If we are to just sit and visualize or wish for something or feel it, it's not going to happen. You actually have to put things into action. You actually have to do what you truly want to do. Some people only wish for money in the bank. Okay, but you actually have to do something to get money in the bank. Look at Jim Carrey. He was a really famous example of this. I can't remember the story exactly. Maybe I should have looked it up, but oh well. But he always had this story of he put a check. I don't know if it was for a certain amount or if it's, whatever it was, but he put a check in his letterbox or something. Okay, but he still was taking action. He just wasn't putting it in his letterbox and expecting it to turn up. Okay, he was putting it into action. He was already out there doing his thing, doing what he loved to do, going on his TV shows, doing his job that he loved. But he was still taking action every day. He wasn't just sitting on the couch going, yeah, it's going to turn up. It doesn't happen like that. I've seen these stories and I've seen these comments. And the other day I saw a comment that said, oh yes, I tried manifestation for one day and then $450 turned up in my bank account. That is not how it happens. That's a bit deceiving because there were already things in play before that happened. Some random person didn't just wake up and go, I'm going to put $450 in someone's account. Okay, that doesn't happen. All right, you have to be doing things that are already in play in the first place for that to happen. So we have to actually do what we truly want to do. Think about this. Maybe all of a sudden you had this idea, I want to build a boat. I've always wanted to build a boat. I love boats. So you sit there and you imagine it and your mind is full of these pictures with boats. You feel good about it. You visualize it all the time. And then you sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and you draw the boat out detail by detail. And you can put this boat onto paper and wow, that's the boat I want. I'm going to build that boat. I've always wanted to do that. And then you make a list of materials and tools that you have to get. And so you go to the hardware and you buy all your stuff. And then you start building the boat bit by bit. And 2 years later, you've got your boat and you feel great about it. And life is grand, right? Yes, 2 years later. It doesn't take necessarily 5 minutes for you to manifest something and poof, it's here. It can take a long time. I knew a lady that had some really good goals set. It took her 2 years. It took her 2 years for that to eventuate. But in that 2 years, she kept going. She kept doing what she wanted to do. She kept putting herself out there. She kept asking. And guess what? Eventually, it came to fruition. And her life is grand, by the way. It's a very good example. One day, if I get to talk to her and do an interview, that would be a really good thing. Because she is a great example of that, of manifesting what you want into your life. But anyway, we have to do the work. We can't just sit on the couch and wait for it to turn up. That's not how things work. But at the same time, We can't force. And that is going into the next subject. We don't need to force anything. Because as soon as we have that idea, as soon as our imagination goes into play, everything is already in existence. Everything is already here. The person that is going to get that done is already here. It doesn't need to be forced. When we force and when we push and strive and struggle, this is when we're creating resistance. We're creating resistance to something we don't need to create resistance to. And one of the reasons why we do that is because we want things now. We want things yesterday. We yearn, we want things. Okay, but the true experience is in the journey itself. It's not in the end goal. Okay, it's in the journey itself, because life changes, we change our minds, circumstances change. We're not in control of everything. Life happens around us, things that we can't control. And we have to be willing to go along with that and going with the flow. So really, when you want direct action, the best thing to do is consistency. Consistency with everything works. Consistency and small steps. And when you find something, you feel a bit of resistance to something, that's when you can deal with it and move through it. Okay, but you will see greater results. And I say this in goal setting as well. You see greater results when you take small steps at a time, because it shows that you can actually do it. You're capable. Greater results with small steps and consistent actions over and over again. So next we are going to go into the next important component, and that is surrender. Number 4, surrender. Now, if you can't tell, I am very hot and sweaty right now. It's summer in Japan and it is so hot, and I've got no fan and no air conditioning. And if you hear a banging on the window, that's my shutters. It's become slightly windy. Windy and uncomfortable. Someone's knocking on my window. But this is the last one, and still an important component, and that is surrender. Now, we talk about setting goals. We talk about, taking action, doing all the things that we need to do. But then we tell you to let go. Let go and just surrender. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Oh, how beautiful. Let go. Well, I've got so many things to do in life. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, and now I've got to do this as well. And how do I do that? How do I let go? How do I have a goal? How do I move towards it? But how do I let go? So I'm going to give you a really good word here. And this is something I started doing right in the beginning of when I started to transform my life. And it's being present. Have you ever heard of that? Being present. Being present in your life, in your experience, in your day-to-day. Being present, being here. Your mind is so used to going outside of itself. Looking outside, doing 50 things at once. I've got 50 things to do. I've got no time. I've got to think about work. I've got to think about the kids. I've got to think about my... Even now it's right too much. But we have to bring ourselves back and center ourselves. Remember, hand on the chest to center yourself, to calm yourself. And bring yourself back to the center and be present in your life. When you are present, you are here to deal with anything that arises within you. Okay, and this is a part of surrendering. If we have a problem, we will naturally fight it and go against it and question ourselves and attack ourselves and call ourselves names. It makes it worse. But when we back off and go, you know what, I'm just going to let this be, what happens? The whole energy changes. Remember, everything is energy. Everything is energy. So surrender is calmness. It's presence. It's just being here and being now. You can do this at any time. You can do this when you're at work, when you're watching the kids. And you're able to deal with things on a more emotionally stable level because your emotions aren't getting involved. Your thoughts aren't getting involved. You're just here, experiencing the world as you should be. This is what's going to get you there, because this is how life actually happens. The moment you have resistance, the moment you put up a barrier, the moment you put up the brick wall, that's what happens, and then you have to take down the brick wall so you can keep going. And we might have goals, we might have things that we have to do, but we have to be fluid. We have to accept that life happens no matter what, that we are going to be okay. Develop that trust within yourself, that knowing within yourself that no matter what, everything will be okay, everything turns out. Everything takes time because you take time, life takes time. Nothing happens instantaneously. The moment that you put your ideas out there into the world, it takes time to catch up. Your idea is instantaneous. Your imagination is immediate. But everything else takes time to catch up. And you have to surrender to that process and allow it to happen. So thank you for listening. And by the way, there's a free download down the bottom there. It's free, no strings attached, no attachments of suffering. You do not have to buy anything else. It is just going to be going over what I went through today, but in a very clear, simplified way, and you can download it for free. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.